basically, what they were saying in that teaser was, do you see how hard we've rocked in the past? Well, guess what? This one's going to be even better. And that's basically what they were selling. So you have that. Something visual to get people excited. Because all this blah, 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 your comparative film analysis, your comparative advertising analysis, what are the films that are similar to ours and how much do they make? And how were they advertised? Because you want to copy the advertising model. This film took this much money in, but it took this much money to make that. You need to understand what did they have to invest in the producing and the advertising of this film to get that profit back out, because you would want to copy or imitate something similar. But all of that is just words, right? The teaser gets people excited, right? The visual, it's like, what is this all about? Again, what's the vision? Oh my God, that's cool. That's what this all adds up to, is that. I can't wait to see this thing. This has to get made. So these pieces are all very important. And there's a group I'm advising right now, and they're getting this together. They're getting their distributing pitch together. So they have their treatment. They've got their production artwork. It all looks really good. They've gotten positive feedback on it. They're currently in the process of putting together their business plan with the comparative film analysis, the comparative advertising analysis, their forecasting of revenue, and they're also now working on a teaser. They're trying to get that done for July because they have a distribution partner who they're going to pitch it to, a potential distribution partner, nobody's signed anything yet, who they're going to pitch it to, and if that person says, yes, we're in, they're going to get a big chunk of cash to make the film. Hopefully. Okay. So let's talk about that pitch. That pitch is going to include your teaser, your story pitch, your business plan, your analysis, your forecast, and your team. Who's on our team? We have the director of The Lion King, Rob Minkoff. He's going to direct this film. Oh my God, Rob Minkoff. Yes, believe it or not, he's on. He's signed and everything. We have, and they may be signed or they may just be proposed. Now, it's easy to bandy about names, so you actually have to be really careful here. Here's a place where you can get yourself in big trouble. If you drop names, you better be damn sure that you have a good, reasonable chance of getting that person. If I mention, I say, you know what? I mean, we haven't signed anything yet, but Craig Caldwell is interested in this. Craig Caldwell is interested in this film? Sign me up. How do you know Craig? Well, actually, I don't know him. I've never met him. I could find his email, though, I'm sure, and hopefully he'll answer. That's not the way you want to go. But if I say, I've known Craig for years, we've known each other since the old days back at Ohio State when we were tipping cows together, and, Craig always said, if a cow-related movie ever comes up, count me in. So, I think he's a sure thing for this one. That's a little more reasonable. So, anyway, so moving on. You gather distributor feedback and willingness to collaborate. This is super important. It's something that creators hate to do. I'm going to have some suits sitting there telling me what they think about my film and giving me feedback. And, does the alien have to be blue? Like there's that film, I forget what it's called, but there's a character, Philip Seymour Hoffman plays a writer, and he's writing this movie called The Old Mill. Right, and they're filming it, and there's one producer says, "Does it have to have a mill in it?" He's like, "Well, it's called The Old Mill," and it's like they're cutting his heart out. And this is not atypical. This is something that you see a lot. But it's in your interest to take this feedback into consideration, because if you don't take their feedback into account and don't apply it, they're not going to distribute your film. And if you want their distribution, you should pay attention. If you don't want their distribution, then you can disregard this willfully, okay? But understand the consequences. So you may say, you know what, these assholes don't know what they're talking about, forget it. Well, fine, but guess what? They're not going to help fund or distribute your film. So just reconcile yourself to the consequences of your position, right, if you're going to hold that line. Or you might say, all right, they said this, and honestly, they're not just saying crap just to say stuff, just to, art direct. They're actually trying to give you advice that will help make your film more marketable so that you can make money off of this thing, right? And make a profit, and guess what? Maybe make another one. So this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but of course, if their advice changes the thing so much that you can't make it anymore and have it feel like it's yours, that the whole reason for you to make it in the first place has been killed, then you have to figure that out for yourself. Is this worth it or not? So there are a lot of moments of truth here, right? And what am I getting into, and what am I willing to accept, and what am I not willing to accept, and what are the consequences of those choices? So knowing what you're about, and knowing what you're willing to, knowing